Hello everybody, hope you're doing well. Just finished a little video. We're going to go ahead and try to do up some glass today. I'm kind of in a glass mood. And I've been eyeballing this piece for the last couple of days. And I want to finish it up. It's a piece of Fenton glass, I believe. We'll go ahead and try to turn it into something sharp and pointy. We'll see how it goes. Might just snap it in half, but it's got some cool translucency. Some red that is clear. Or not red that's clear, but red that's translucent, and then it's got some opaques in it. Really cool piece. We'll see what we can make out of it. Probably maybe a small triangular point. I've been working a lot of day sight, so it might be a bit of a adjustment to get used to it. So we'll see. Try to do a fair bit of pressure. And I think I'm going to use copper because I want to. I might do antler for edge prep, copper for the rest of it. And we'll see how it flakes before we think about indirect. Well, we might visit that. But I do like using antler for edge crushing. It just works really nice. Let's see here, we gotta get rid of that tip. It's a little thick. This needs to come up. This needs to come in here. This type of glass can be tricky because it can have impurities, air bubbles, fractures. The different materials can flake different. Like clear glass can flake a little bit different than opaque glass. It just all depends. But we'll give it a good old college try here. I gotta cut this thing. Flap off. It's not doing me any good, and it's in my way. Something sharp here. Dang, that's sharp. The only reason I didn't cut it off is because it was just part of a long strip of leather that I just used to make my hand pad. Pretty well. Okay, now that that's out of the way, because I've done worked a hole into this, and all this pad is a scrap piece of leather from Hobby Lobby. I rolled it up kind of like into a flat rectangle, and I stitched it here and here, and this is a hand pad. It's a little too floppy, so this is a piece of the same leather, but it has a hard 1/4 inch like this 1/4 inch veg tan. Really hard. It's just, I like this because it gives the flakes a little bit more padding to slip, and then this gives it rigidity. And it gives it thickness, which is nice for my hands. But overall, it's a pretty good hand pad. Be cool if I can keep this red tip here. That'll look nice. So I got that tip stabilized. It had a bit of a ball. And then we have, you know, our rough symmetry, so that tip looks good. Now we're going to go and work our sides and start trying to create a triangle. Which will probably do a bit of shearing. I'm going to zigzag this square edge off. Right there. I'm going to zigzag that off. Pick, turn, pick, turn, pick, turn, pick, flip, pick, flip, pick, flip. And you're basically hitting that little triangle right there. Picking it straight down. You're not really trying to drive flakes, you're just trying to pick down. A little short flake. So we got that zigzagged off there. We're going to go ahead and attack this bulb right here, since that platform's already to this side. Hopefully you can see it now. But this is all to this side, so we're going to pick down and get rid of that bulb. That bulge. We'll try to run it without it. Almost. I like using the antler because the handle gets in the way. It can be a bit uncomfortable when you're trying to do what you want to do. Another square spot we're zigzagging here. Whoops, pushed too hard. That area was pretty thin. You can see right there it was super thin. and I just squeezed just a hair too hard and it right in half. But that's okay. We still got enough to make a little arrowhead. Little point. We just gotta watch our hand pressure. I don't know how. I think it's Ryan Clifford makes these paper thin points, and they're so nice. I did a trade with him, doing the monthly Facebook trades, and it was just ridiculous. I will 10 for 10 squish that right in half every single time. Every single time I'll squish that in half. But that's what experience gets you. It gets you. Hopefully it's good. Very talented guy. I'll have to bring his point down so you guys can see it one of these days. So I'm going to zigzag this base and pull this corner up to where we're nice and flat again. But we don't want to be too aggressive because it is quite thin. So I'm going to be gently aggressive. There we go. If we can pull it off, there's still a neat little point in here. If I don't break it in half again. Here's where we're at. Got a big flake scar right here. Almost looks like a flute. Then we have original flake scar right there. So we may not get a complete flake scarring on here, but that's okay. Just gotta get close. I'm gonna dress up my tip here. Sorry about that noise. Can't be pleasant. Get a little warm. Wiki. Wiki. Alright. So we're going to keep pulling that bottom up. Get it back to somewhat symmetrical. Okay, nice and thin. So now we got to think of a point style. Reader here. Let's see, I think if we pull this side over, it'll be a bit more wide and pretty. Yeah, we'll pull that tip over to this direction. Still got to turn that tip over. That's better. Yeah, I think that works. Yes, here's where we're at. Just gonna keep working on symmetry and size. Probably narrow up the base a little bit. I like to do like a 2-to-1. This one's a bit wide yet. But we have time. Try not to crush it with my fingers. Here's where we're at. Getting closer. Might do like a basal corner notch on this one. If that makes sense. Just something. think that would look pretty cool, especially with it being more rounded. Yeah, I think we'll do that. Here's where we're at. Almost looks kind of like a little shield. Almost looks like that's more rounded than that side again. Get a straight edge here. Oh yeah. Alright, we're going to pick at that a little bit. Take that belly out. That's more better. Yeah, that's better. And we're still pretty decent. So we're going to go ahead and try to notch it real quick. And I'm going to use my copper notcher. Maybe. Maybe this one. Alright, we're going to do a basal notch kind of doodad here. Because I think it'll look pretty cool. Because I haven't done one in a while and I like doing them. Okay, we'll try to weasel that one in a little bit more in a minute. We're going to try the other side now. Okay, I'm going to keep going, but I got to widen this out a little bit. If your notch is too narrow, like this notcher is kind of wedged, so it's thin at the front but thick at the back. If you're too narrow and you start getting into the thick edge, it'll break your ear off. So you got to make sure to open your notch up wide enough to where that doesn't happen. Otherwise you'll just break your stiff, which I do often. I'm just going to keep pulling that in maybe. Not too bad. Try to put a fine point. So I've been making really fine tooth edgers out of this is a copper rod I spun, but it's bendy and it wants to break. So I think the ticket is to really sharpen the tip, and this is hammered on an anvil, which work hardens it, but then also we can sharpen that to a nice tip on the file. But not so sharp it's gonna hurt us. Take those off, I can't see. This is almost giving me Elko vibes. I have to start using some reading glasses for this. I'm at the limits of my vision, apparently. I don't know, I like that. Oh, don't drop it. It's got some pretty cool character. We'll let this go. So here's where we're at. It's really hard to show up on the camera, but it's got some really cool, it's got a red here, it's got a streak right here. Nice red loop right there. bit of red on the tip. Nice lenticular shape. I did what I could not to make it look beveled. So a lot of times when I'm napping here, I'm down low because I'm trying to push and peel instead of just chunk, because then you'll get like a bevel. But this almost looks like maybe a lost lake, but way tiny. It's like a mini lost lake. And the notches could be deeper, but don't beat me up too bad on that. But here we go. Little red glass point. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Bye.